This video is a summary of the book 13 Things Mentally Strong People Don't Do by Amy Morin. The author believes good habits are important, but it's often our bad habits that prevent us from reaching our potential. Let's see if you practice any of these 13 bad habits, starting with the first one now. Number 1. They don't waste time feeling sorry for themselves. Amy believes falling into the self-pity trap is an easy thing to do. As long as you feel sorry for yourself, you can delay your circumstances that will bring you face to face with your real fears, and you could avoid taking any ownership for your actions. She also mentioned that self-pity stalls your progress because self-pity keeps the focus on why things should be different instead of accepting things for the way they are. She advises, when you notice self-pity creeping into your life, make a conscious choice to do something different than how you feel, such as volunteering to help a meaningful cause, perform random acts of kindness, or do some type of physical activity. Number 2, they don't give away their power. Amy says, if you've changed your goals based on what other people have told you that you should be doing with your life, it could be a sign that you're letting others have power over you. And that if you let others have power to determine your self-worth, you'll never feel worthy enough. Also, that successful people don't let another person's opinion define them. Number 3, they don't shy away from change. When we shy away from change, we often will get into ruts. One big thing the author suggests we avoid is putting off doing anything different until we reach certain milestones, or until a certain time frame has passed. Another suggestion she has is focusing on one small change at a time with clear action steps. Number 4, they don't focus on things they can't control. The author writes, when you notice yourself trying to control something that you can't, ask yourself, what am I so afraid of? Realizing your fears and developing an understanding of them will help you start learning what is within your control and what isn't. To become mentally stronger, we need to practice acceptance. The author says, even though you may not like the situation you're in, you can make the choice to accept it. And for a nice visual that she provides, instead of wasting energy trying to prevent a storm, focus on how you can prepare for it. Number 5, they don't worry about pleasing everyone. In this chapter, there was a story about a woman who had a number 1 rule of never saying no to family. She would say yes to something like babysitting for her cousin, even when she didn't want to, and even when she didn't have time. The woman realized her biggest fear was that other people would think that she was selfish. But after a few therapy sessions with the author, this woman began to realize that her needs to always be liked was actually more selfish than saying no to someone. The author helped this woman realize that helping others actually wasn't about improving their lives. This woman was mostly giving of herself because she wanted to be liked by them. Once she realized this, she was able to start changing her behavior. One of the best ways to overcome people-pleasing is to live according to your values. When you're living according to your values, it becomes easier to say no to people. Number 6, they don't fear taking calculated risks. The author believes that we incorrectly assume there's a direct correlation between our fear level and the risk level, but often our emotions are just not rational. One way to tame your irrational emotions is to ask yourself these following questions. What are my costs? What are my benefits? What are the alternatives? What's the best case scenario? What's the worst case scenario? And how much will this decision matter 5 years from now? And here's a valuable quote from the author to inspire you to overcome your fear of risk-taking. If we only take risks that make us most comfortable, we're likely missing out on some great opportunities. taking calculated risks often means the difference between living a mediocre life and living an extraordinary life. Number 7, they don't dwell on the past. Oftentimes, when we make a mistake, we beat ourselves up for it and wonder how we could have ever done such a thing. This dwelling may lead us to having low self-esteem, and it may cause us to never try anything out of our comfort zone ever again. The author says, once we learn from our past, rather than just beating ourselves up over it, our thinking can shift. Plus, she pointed out that it's impossible to dwell on the past if you're planning for your future. That's why asking yourself a question like, how can I overcome this mistake and do better next time, can be incredibly valuable. Number 8, they don't make the same mistakes over and over. Amy suggests that being stubborn can lead to repeated mistakes. For example, a person who makes a poor investment may say something like, I've invested way too much now and there's no turning back. So instead of cutting his losses and losing a little, he's likely going to lose a lot because he's too stubborn to stop. She also suggested we may repeat mistakes because we've invested a lot of time with something. For example, someone in a job he hates may say something like, I've given 10 years of my life to this company. I can't walk away now. But the only thing worse than investing 10 years into something that's draining you and making you miserable is investing 10 years and 1 day. The author suggests that if you want to avoid repeating a mistake, spend some time studying it. Put your negative feelings aside and understand the factors that led to your misstep, and learn from it. Number 9, they don't resent other people's success. Amy suggests we may resent others' success because of our insecurities. The reason we do so is because someone else's success seems to magnify our shortcomings. Coming to terms with your shortcomings and embracing them or trying to develop them is what the mentally strong do. They don't lash out or belittle others' success in an attempt to make themselves feel better. Amy also says that focusing on things that aren't fair isn't a wise use of your time. She acknowledges that sometimes people cheat and get ahead, and sometimes people are successful based on chance. But the more time you spend dwelling on who is quote-unquote deserving of success and who isn't, the less time you'll be focusing on something that's more productive. Number 10, they don't give up after the first failure. The author believes, if you refuse to try again after one failure, it's highly possible you have some false or unproductive beliefs about failure. She believes self-compassion, and not necessarily high self-esteem, may be the key to reaching your full potential. Self-compassion means looking at your failures kindly, yet realistically. It means understanding that everyone has failures, and that failure doesn't decrease your worth as a person. When you compassionately approach your weaknesses, you'll be more likely to learn, grow, and improve. She also said, understanding that you'll be okay, even if you fail repeatedly, offers much peace and contentment in life. Number 11, they don't fear alone time. It could be possible we constantly try to stay busy and go great lengths to avoid silence and being alone because we're afraid of our thoughts. Maybe they're about our fears or our inadequacies. Whatever they are, we become mentally weaker when we aren't able to tolerate them. Being able to be alone is good for your mental health. It has even been shown that the ability to tolerate alone time has been linked to increased happiness, life satisfaction, and improved stress management. People who enjoy time alone also experience less depression. One way to improve your mental strength is through journaling. Even if it's just for a few minutes, journaling can help you sort out your emotions and make it easier to be alone with your thoughts. Number 12, they don't feel the world owes them anything. Amy believes Believing you're entitled to more than you have isn't likely going to enrich your life. Entitlement will only waste your time and energy and lead to disappointment. She also believes when you stop demanding that you need more and are able to be grateful for what you have, you'll reap tremendous benefits in life. You'll move forward with a sense of peace and contentment and won't have bitterness or struggle with selfishness. Another suggestion to overcome entitlement is empathy. She believes increasing empathy for others can decrease your inflated sense of self-importance. Number 13, they don't expect immediate results. Many of us are looking for a quick fix, but those who are mentally strong know that the quick fix isn't usually the best solution. A big reason many of us give up is that we are lacking patience, we overestimate our abilities, and we underestimate how long it will take to succeed. I love the cake baking analogy the author uses in this section. When you expect a cake to bake quickly, you may open the oven door to check it repeatedly. But every time you open the oven door, you allow heat to escape, which means the cake will take longer to bake. Expecting success to happen quickly is like opening that oven door. It's a behavior that interferes with your efforts and will make success take longer. Simply put, let go of expecting immediate results and be patient. Also, honestly evaluate yourself and your skill sets to see where you can be growing and developing to increase your chances of success. There's so much value in this book that we didn't even discuss in this video. If you haven't read 13 Things Mentally Strong People Don't Do by Amy Morin, I highly recommend you do so, and I'll leave a link in the description of this video to do so. If you got value from this video, like it and consider sharing it with a friend. Maybe it'll lead to insights that will improve their life. And lastly, thank you so much for watching this video and can't wait to see you in the next one.